Hi guys, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little penguin chocolate orange cover. It's a really easy pattern and it's ideal for beginners actually because it only uses 2 different stitches and it's really not as complicated as it looks. To make this one you're going to need a 3.5mm crochet hook, some double knit weight yarn of your choice, some scissors, a needle for sewing, and you will need a stitch marker because this is worked in continuous rounds. Okay, so we will begin. So we're going to start with making our head, and to do this we're going to start by making a magic ring. If you don't already know how to do this, in my YouTube channel there's a playlist called Crochet Basics, and within there is a nice slow tutorial on how to make a magic ring. So we've got our magic ring and we're going to be working in half double crochets. Now that's in US terms. For UK terms that would be half treble crochets, okay? We're going to start by working 6 half double crochets into our magic ring. Two, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then we're going to pull our ring closed and we're not going to slip stitch to join or chain 1, we're just going to work continuously around, so you will want to use stitch markers. So count back your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then work a half double crochet increase, so that's 2 half double crochets into each stitch around. Okay, so that's 6 half double crochet increases, so we'll end up with 12 stitches at the end of round 2. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4 worked into 2 stitches, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and into our final stitch work those last 2 half double crochets to make 12. Right, so that's the end of round 2. For round 3 we're going to work another round of increases, but this time we're going to alternate between an increase and a half double crochet. So into the first stitch there we're going to work an increase, so 2 half double crochets, 2 half treble crochets if you're working with UK terms, and then just a 1 half double crochet into the next stitch there. Okay, so we're going to continue that sequence all the way around, so 2 into that one, 1 into the next, so 2 1 2 1 all the way around. So you're going to repeat that a total of 6 times, so you end up with 18 stitches. So this is my third set. Fourth, 5th, and our final half double crochet increase followed by 1 half double crochet, and that's the end of round 3, and you should have 18 stitches, so make sure you go back and count your V's. So you got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 and 18. Okay, so that's the end of round 3. For round 4 we're again going to increase. This time we're going to work a half double crochet increase, so 2 into the first stitch followed by 1 half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So we've got a sequence of 4 there, and again we're going to do that for a total of 6 times in that round. So a half double crochet increase, a half double crochet, half double crochet, increase, half double crochet, half double crochet, and I'll meet you back at the end and you should have 24 stitches at the end of round 4. So at the end of round 4 you should have 24 stitches. We're going to work another 2 rounds of increases as well. So the next round, round 5, we're going to work 1 half double crochet increase into the first stitch, followed by 1 half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So we've got groups of 5 stitches. Okay, we're going to repeat that for 6 times all the way around. So I'll just tell you again. So it's 1 half double crochet increase, followed by 3 half double crochets, and repeat that sequence for a total of 6 times. And then at the end of round 5, you should have 30 stitches in total. I'll meet you back here in a sec to talk through round 6. So we've reached the end of round 5 and you should have 30 stitches in total. We're going to work one more increase round, and we're going to go up to take our stitch count up to 36 now. So as we have done with the previous rounds, we're going to begin with a half double crochet increase into that first stitch there, followed by 1 half double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So there we've got a group of 6 stitches in total, and then we're going to repeat that a total of 6 times all the way around, so you will end up with 36 stitches at the end. Go ahead and meet that. I'll pause the video here, go ahead, complete that, and then I will show you what to do for the next few rounds. That's round 6 complete. Now we're going to be working just a single 1 half double crochet into each stitch around, and we're going to be doing that for the next 3 rounds. So we're going to end up with 36 stitches in total still, and you'll see that your work will start to curve around the shape of your orange now. So what you want to do by the end of round 9, you will be looking for your work to be below halfway down the orange. If you find that it's still a little bit higher, then just add one more round in. So instead of doing 3 rounds of 36, you do a 4th round. So I'll pause the video here, leave you to get on with those, and then I'll meet you back to show you how to do our decreases and finish off the shape of our orange. After completing your rounds of 36 half double crochets, just as I said earlier, just make sure that you pop your cover onto your orange just to double check it for sizing, and you want it to be just coming underneath the halfway line. Okay, so now you know that you are ready to start with the decreasing. With the decreases, we're going to work in the opposite way as we did with the increases. So it's all very simple, standard amigurumi techniques. We're going to begin by working 1 decrease into our first 2 stitches. With my patterns, I do tend to use invisible decreases. If you don't know how to do that, it's really very simple. The only difference between an invisible decrease and an ordinary one is the loops that you work under. So normally we work under both V's of a stitch here, but for an invisible decrease, we're just going to be working underneath the front loop. So begin your decrease as normal, but under the front loop only of the first stitch, and again into the second stitch under the front loop only. Pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all of your loops on your hook there, and that is your invisible decrease. We are then going to work 1 half double crochet into the next 4 stitches, and we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around until we come back and meet ourselves at the beginning. So you'll have 6 sets of this sequence. So it's 1 decrease followed by 4 half double crochets. Okay, at the end of round 10 you should have 30 stitches remaining on your work, and we're now going to work on round 11, and we're just going to finish off by making 1 more round of decreases, and this is going to take us down to 24 stitches. So as before, work an invisible decrease into the first stitch, followed by 1 half double crochet or half treble crochet if you're using UK terms into the next 3 stitches. So we've got a block of 4 stitches in total, and we're going to repeat that a further 5 times, so 6 times in total all the way around. So by the end of round 11 you will have 24 stitches. So again, that sequence is 1 half double crochet decrease followed by 1 half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Once you get round to the end of this one, what you want to do is then work 1 round of 24 half double crochets, so just 1 half double crochet into each stitch around, and then pop it on your orange and try it on for size. I'll meet you back there in a moment once we get to the end of round 12. So remember, it's a decrease followed by 3 half double crochets 6 times, and then 1 round of half double crochets, and I'll meet you back there at the end of that one. Now we have reached the end of round 12. As it happens, I didn't actually need to add an extra round of 24 on, I only needed to do the 1. But on my demo one, I did need to add the extra round. So it all depends on your tension and the yarn that you're using, etc. So you want it to sit nice and flush with the bottom of the orange, so that when it's on the surface, you can't see any of that one peeking through. So that's the head complete. Now we're going to move on to our hood or our mask to create the penguin's shaping. So to do this, we're going to work in the exact same way that we did with the orange. We're going to start with a magic ring and work 6 half double crochets, and we're going to increase up to 36 half double crochets. So we've got a stitch count of 36. Once you get to that point, you are then going to work 5 more rounds of 36 half double crochets. So you've gone your increases up to 36, then you're going to work another 5 rounds. So you'll have 11 rounds in total, and you want 5 rounds of those to be 36 half double crochets. Once you've got to that point, I'll meet you back here and I will show you how to create the face. Now that you've completed your rounds of 36, it's time to try the hood onto the head for size. With mine, I've actually just completed 4 rounds of the 36 as opposed to the 5, because I found that this yarn was actually worked out quite a bit thicker than this one here. So depending on your tension and the yarn that you are using yourself, you may add or minus a round for the 36 half double crochets. So to try it on for size, what you want to do is you want the hood to be positioned so that the back of the hood comes all the way down and meets the bottom of the head there, okay? And you can have it slightly overlapping as well, make it a bit easier for sewing. So then that the hood or the mask is going up at a diagonal angle, and then this end here is what will become your face. When you are finally assembling everything and you are adding the hood on to sew, try and make sure that this end here is at the back of your work, so then that's ended up concealed and you've got a nice neat finish at the front of your penguin's face there, okay? So for the nose part of the face, what we're going to do is we're going to continue on working with this yarn here, and what you're going to do into the next stitch here, we're going to make a slip stitch, and then we're going to make a chain of 1 and a half double crochet back into that same stitch, okay? So it was a slip stitch into the next stitch on, a chain of 1, and then a half double crochet back into that same space, okay? Now what we're going to do is half double crochet into the next 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then into the next stitch here we are going to finish with a slip stitch, okay? So that's the start of our face, and that's the width that our nose is going to be as it comes down. Now what we're going to do is create a chain 1 and turn our work. So make a chain of 1 and turn. Then we're going to make a start on round 13. So for round 13, or say round 2 of the face, should we say, we're going to complete 7 half double crochets starting into the same stitch as we've just chained up from. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7, and then into this final stitch here we are going to slip stitch. Okay, then a chain of 1 and turn our work again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to skip this first stitch here, and then we are going to make 6 half double crochets. So skip the first stitch, half double crochet into the next, and then another 5 half double crochets. So we've got 6 in total. 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we are going to finish that row off with a slip stitch into that final stitch space there. Chain 1 and turn our work again. Now for this round, round 15, we are going to first of all make a decrease. So yarn over your hook, insert into that first stitch there. These can be a bit fiddly because obviously these are slip stitches. They are a bit tighter than standard stitches, but they really make a difference with the angle of the face coming down. So yarn over, insert into the first, pull up a loop, yarn over into the second, and then pull through all of those loops there to make your first decrease. Then we are going to put a half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2 and 3, and then we are going to perform another decrease. Yarn over into the stitch, yarn over into that stitch there, and through all of those loops here. Okay, so you should have something that's starting to look like this. So it should be curving down towards itself like this. Okay, so make a chain of 1 and turn our work back again, so we're on the outside now. Then we are going to make another decrease into this first stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all of those. So that's 1 decrease, followed by a half double crochet, and then another decrease in these last 2 stitches. Okay, chain of 1 and turn your work again. Now we're just going to make a half double crochet into each stitch. So we've got 3 stitches left on our row. So we're going to do 3 half double crochets. And 3. There you go. So then you just pull up your loop and you should have something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, so you've got a triangular shape that is pointing, coming down and getting slimmer and slimmer as it goes down. You might want to try this on your head to just double check that you might not want to do one more round of the 3 half double crochets, because this is where your beak is going to be sitting in a minute. As you can see from this one here, it sits on the bottom of that face there. I'm happy with the positioning of that. You don't want it to come down too low because obviously then you'll end up with the beak all the way down at the bottom here. So that's how you do the hood. So that's that one complete. Now we're going to move on to the beak. So the beak is very, very simple. You start with a magic ring as always, and we're going to work 6 single crochets this time. So not half doubles, we're going to work 6 single crochets, or UK doubles. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then we're going to close the ring and we are going to continue working around those stitches. and we're just going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch. Okay, so another round of 6. Count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Insert your hook. This one's always really difficult, the first one, especially when you're working on a small scale like this. If you find you're making this the beak and you find that it's absolutely humongous, then just either drop down a couple of hook sizes. As I say, it all depends on your tension. I'm quite a tight crocheter, so perhaps you might want to be working with a 3mm hook or even a 2.5 for this beak in particular. So that's 3, 4. I know it's quite tight, this one, but you need to try and keep the stitches as tight as possible because then it keeps a neat finish to the beak. And last one, 6. So that's our initial magic ring with 6 single crochets and then 1 round of single crochets, and we need to do 1 more. So we've got 2 rounds of 6 single crochets in total, as well as the initial 6 that we worked into our magic ring. 4, 5 and 6. So you should have an odd shape that looks a bit like this. Turn your work so that's the right way out, so that your starting tail is on the inside, not on the outside. And then give your center of your ring a good pull again to tighten up that hole. And then what you want to do, I mean, you can add a little bit of stuffing if you like, but I personally don't really bother with things like this. And then what you want to do, just to give the beak its sort of shape, is just give it a flatten, really. That's all I do with mine, is just give it a bit of a squish. As you can see from this one at the side, that's all I've done, just given it a bit of a squeeze, and then that just pops on the end of your little nose there. Okay, so that is our penguin's sort of crochet bits and pieces completed. So for assembly, you would, like I said, make sure that this one here is at the back and your hood bottom is just overlapping that little area there and going up at a diagonal angle, and try not to overstretch the hood too much, just let it sit nice and loosely but comfortable enough that when you stitch it, it's not going to start making any puckers. So what you do now with assembling is you would use your blue yarn tail. Obviously you'd keep a longer one than this for sewing than I did, and you literally just sew all the way up around the edges, just whip stitching or whatever stitch you prefer, all the way around just to secure it to the head. And then after that's done, I would assemble the beak and literally just have him sat just so that he's lining up with the bottom of your little face there, the nose. That's all you need to do, just have him sat on top, and you want him evenly from side to side so that you try not to have any blue showing on either side. It just gives it a nice neat finish. If I just move my loop out of the way there, so like that, so you can see. Okay, so you pop your little beak on then next using your yellow yarn, and then with the eyes, it's up to you. You can either applique some on like I've done, or embroider some on like I've done, or you can make some to applique on like we have with the snowman. To do that, I'd make small eyes for this because it'd look rather odd with big eyes. So I would make a magic ring and perhaps drop down a hook size or 2 as well, whichever the smallest size you can go to. Single crochet around 4 into that ring and then slip stitch to make a nice neat circle, and then just stitch those on wherever you prefer. But with mine, what I've done is I have embroidered just using ordinary black double knit yarn, and all I've done is gone up into the stitches, done one straight line, and then you go back over to the end of the stitch and you flick up a little bit. It just gives that eye that little bit of extra shape. If you take that off, you can see it's still quite a sweet little eye, but that little tick just gives it that extra finish there. Okay, so that there is your little chocolate orange penguin. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. As always, if you aren't already, please do hit the subscribe button, because I've always got lots and lots of content coming out, and lots of different things, particularly seasonally. Like at the moment I'm working on a load of winter wear and some more amigurumi and some baubles and things like that, so do feel free to check back in. And also, if I could ask, if you pop a like or a comment on the video, this helps it get seen by more people, and then this also in turn enables me to make more videos for you guys. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next time. Until then, happy crocheting.